Are we going to be able to bring out Mr. DeFay?
Yes.
Thank you so much for arranging that. I appreciate it. Thank you. Counsel, technically your client doesn't have a right to be here instead of the jail, but I think that given the timing of everything, it's fair for him to be present. You're asking me to keep him present?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Counsel, this is about a medication issue, so you can come if you want to, but I just have questions for his attorney.
Okay. Oh, maybe.
Okay, let's bring him out. Do you want to go back to ask him that? Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, in the case that would be our next step. But then I have all the material. Gave it to me. The fact that they had the fact that I was involved with them guys. But before that, I didn't really have much. put her badge on.
That would be, so we should close that, and it's so easy. Also, it was cafeteria here for
I used to go there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's Stacy.
vending machines, but not even ones like the lending hospitals, the vending machines are actual.
Right.
So we can get that.
I saw a new one down there today. That had, some, like, food.
Oh, interesting. I mean, they're all gonna be so, because it's voted here.
COVID has really, all the buildings, I live around here, so.
Oh, you do?
I live in Midtown, so. But all the law firms have shut down. A lot of them had those buildings, cafeterias, and then they have.
Right, that's true. That was nice. You just went to go to Peachtree, there were other machines.
Now it's just like even switch through your own offices, and they were supposed to, and they're using the building I saw, it's to have like a whole cafeteria. And it's just,
Essentially, I don't think it's a switch for
they're not in the Augusta, they're like down a little bit, they did it like last year. And their little cafe, I think we're supposed to have a cafeteria, but then people are going to the office. I just don't know. The buildings are like those schools now. Well, and somebody who's responsible for it, right? Hold somebody to task.
Somebody's got to who's going to do that. It's quite a heavy conversation about the.
But it's something they're right. These are very, yeah.
No. Right. Also, is he talking about
No, that's kind of it. It's kind of the quicker route.
yes, I know. Okay.
No, check.
Deputy Hero,
Who's that?
Deputy Hero, can I ask you a quick question? Sorry.
Billy? Just Billy?
You need to go. Okay. Okay. I know you're running crazy. Okay, that's fine. So you're good.
Oh, yeah, that's you just
Okay.
So,
Okay. So what are we gonna do about the rest?
he did my
Are you, what has to happen for you to be able to do that? Is it in the prescription container?
Oh, so yeah.
So somebody could do that.
That's what was missing. Because we didn't have, we would say That's what we need to see. Okay.
Okay, thanks. We're waiting for you. I'll send it to you.
I didn't know you had a Tina.
Who's your official?
It's Karen. She doesn't. Said she's got Mondays that she's got. It's a kind of a good job for her. Shacola, it was her birthday. She paid us $750. It's wild. It's better than something than to switch on your
So there will be somebody different for tomorrow. How many employees do you have on this wire? Really?
Or bad timing, I don't know. It's all down there. Yeah. I know, crazy.
No, I think.
Okay, ready to get started? I've assured him we can quit early today so that he can deal with some of this. So we'll try to quit around 3:30. Does that really mess you up with some witnesses? Quit by 4, but shoot for 3:30?
Yeah, I think we should be done by 4 for today's meeting.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. And it's my understanding that your client will not be with us this afternoon.
Correct.
Okay. All right, go ahead with your next witness.
The city called Shacola Weston.
Sorry, you
No,
coming
no,
up?
no.
Yeah,
Miss Weston.
put your bag down.
Okay.
Yeah, please. Straight up. You turn face 3 and raise your right hand. You swear upon the testimony you give to the court that shoot the whole truth, so help you.
Yes.
Go ahead and have a seat. And into the mic, state and spell your name for the court.
Shacola Weston, Shicola Weston.
Good afternoon, Ms. Weston.
Hello.
Are you familiar with the proper address of 2110 Peachtree?
Yes.
And how are you familiar with the property?
So 11:45, I went and celebrated my birthday.
Beg your pardon?
I celebrated my birthday,
And when did you celebrate your birthday?
May 12th.
Okay. And was that Mother's Day?
Yes.
Okay. And have you been to that property prior to your birthday?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you know that that particular property to be a restaurant or a club?
The club.
And how many times prior to May 12th have you frequented 2110 Peachtree?
That was my third time. May 12th.
Okay. And have you ever been charged a cover charge?
Yes.
Okay. And what was the cover that you paid for?
I can't. It was between $20 and $40 each time. It's been a couple of years, so.
Okay. And on the nights that you were there, and previous to May 12th, did you go through any type of security?
Yeah.
Did they ask for your ID?
No.
Did they check inside of your purse?
Barely.
Okay. And on May 12th, were you charged a cover charge?
No.
Okay. Did you pay anything?
Yes. I had to pay for. Well, I paid for my section, but that was after the situation happened.
Okay. And what did you pay for a section?
$750.
And that $750, what did it include, Ms. Weston?
Just a section and 3 bottles of liquor. I want to say it was 2 bottles of Terramana and a bottle of DeLeon.
Okay. So was this wine or was it actual liquor, bottles of liquor?
Bottles of liquor.
On the evening of May 12th, did you go through any security points, checkpoints?
Yeah, we went through one, but it barely checked us.
Okay. Did they ask for your ID?
No, the only reason they got my ID is because I was paying for the section, but they didn't. The security didn't ask for it. The lady at the desk where we paid for our section asked for it.
Okay. Did they look? Did you have a purse that night?
I did.
Did they look inside your purse?
He looked at the top when he didn't look at the bottom. He literally just opened it, saw my lip gloss on the top, and closed it. So
Okay.
like a second.
Did you get? Was there any pat down at the security?
No.
Okay. And that $750, did it include any food?
No.
Okay. Can you walk the court through what happened once you got inside?
Okay, just a minute. Basically, I got there a little after 12. I was waiting for the rest of my party. We got there probably, yes ma'am, I'm sorry. We was in the section, like as soon as you walked through the door, that was our section. Like straight as soon as you walked through, our section was right there. So I waited for the rest of my people to come in. I'll say about 20 minutes in, I finally got my my sign with my hookah, with the drinks and stuff like that. The bottle girls came out with my sign or whatever. Basically, we just partied. Like, we was just having fun throughout the night. We was drinking, turning up. I just remember it was a guy that was getting put out the club. He was in a headlock. We was, when you partying and stuff like that, you don't think nothing of it. So we did see a guy aggressively getting put out the club or whatever. Didn't think anything of it. I'll say probably like, not even 10 minutes, I would have to say. He came back in. Of course, we wasn't thinking nothing of it because we was dancing, we turning up, we partying and stuff like that. But I do remember like saying like, dang, you know, he on a mission. Shortly after that, that's when the gunshots rang out. So I don't remember much 'cause I was intoxicated that night, but I do remember the key points to where the because even with the gunshot, once we heard the first gunshot, I thought it was like a balloon popping or a bottle of champagne being popped. Like not even a few seconds after that, the rest of the shots started ringing out, and after that, you know, it was one man for themselves. Everyone went running. I remember I was trampled over really, really bad. Yeah.
Ms. Weston, were the shots fired inside of the facility?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you sustain any injuries?
I did.
Okay. And can you tell the court about the injuries you sustained?
I was trampled, so I didn't know this was my first time ever been in a situation like that, so of course I froze. Once everything happened, I guess everyone was rushing towards me, so I was trampled over. My boyfriend tried his best to get me up out of there. I didn't know that I was, like, my leg was hurt until after the fact. I had, like, a knot the size of, like, a golf ball. I think I was, somebody, like, they pushed me over a ladder trying to get out of the exit because we had to go through the kitchen to get out. You know, get to safety or whatever. And I remember, I think, falling over a ladder that was either pushed down or whatever that was blocking the exit way. And I was trampled over that. I had a bunch of scratches and bruises all over my neck, my body. And yeah, so the main one, I could barely walk for a couple of days. It was a knot on my left leg, on my shin.
Was other members of your party trampled due to the setup of the club?
Yes, several.
And let's just go back. Were you offered a menu to order food?
Yes.
But food was not included in the $750 that you paid for?
No, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Weston. No further questions at this time.
Cross-examination?
Just really brief, probably one question.
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Ms. Weston, you made reference to witnessing a guy in a headlight being escorted outside of Elleven45 at some point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was it your testimony that that you saw him later, that he returned, or was that just in the police report? Forgive me.
That was in the police report as well. Like I said, I don't know if he was the same guy, but it looked like he was the same guy that dude, because how he came back in, he was put out aggressively, and it wasn't that long before he came back the same way he was getting put out, and he had the same clothes on.
But the person who was escorted out, you didn't witness any situation prior. You don't know why they were escorted out.
No, I didn't hear any commotion or anything.
And then you also testified that you know of Elleven45 to be a club. Is that correct? Accurate?
Yes, correct.
In your opinion, what makes it a club, or why do you believe it to be a club?
It is a club because they allow people to smoke marijuana inside. We buy bottles that we can buy from a liquor store, and they charge us extra, way more than a liquor store, serve it, to sell it. There was dancing on the couch, you know what I'm saying? We don't do that in restaurants, only lounges and clubs. And security was hustling as well because I had my brother, he didn't have his ID, and they charged him $20 to get in without his ID, even though he was of age, of course, but he was charged $20, as well as they tried to, my sister-in-law, she was 9 months pregnant. She unfortunately wanted to come with us that night because she didn't want my brother there, I guess, around other women. So she insisted on coming or whatever, but I told her I would have to ask someone there. We asked the young lady there. She asked, were we able to see her stomach? I was like, yeah, very much. She was like, well, no, she can't come in. In the midst of that conversation, the security guard asked us, he was like, how much you trying to get her in? How much you willing to pay to get her in? It was like, nothing. That's why would we pay to get her in? Like, I didn't even want her coming anyway. You know what I'm saying? But if I was to have paid, they would have let her, a 9-month pregnant lady, in, and she had the baby 2 days after May 14th. She had a May 14th. So, and that situation happened. So yeah, that's what makes it a club.
Okay, so your definition, or what makes it a club in your opinion is just based on exterior factors such as the nature of how security is and the nature of dancing and partying.
And the bottles, and the live DJ.
And the live DJ,
Mhm.
okay.
And the hookah girls with the bottles coming out with the lightning and the signs and stuff as well.
I have no further questions.
Thank you.
Any questions? Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, any reason she can't be excused?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for your testimony.
The city calls Trelquail Walker.
Ma'am, you're free to go. If you want to stay and watch now, you can, but you absolutely don't have to. You're free to go.
Yeah, right there. That's right here. You turn around and face me. Raise your right hand. Do you swear upon the testimony you give to the court the truth, the whole truth, so help you?
Yes.
You go ahead and have a seat right there in the blue chair. And into the mic, state and spell your name for the court.
Trelquail Walker, Taquuail.
Do you mind scooting up a little closer to the microphone? Thanks.
Good afternoon, Ms. Walker. Are you familiar with the property address of 2110 Peachtree?
Yes.
And how are you familiar with that property?
I've been there several times to party, the club.
Okay.
Just,
And you just said club. Do you know that property to be a restaurant or a club?
a club.
And were you at that at the club on May 12th of 2024?
Yes, ma'am.
Prior to May 12th of 2024, how many times were you at the club?
I say approximately 4 times.
Okay. And on those 4 times, were you charged a cup charge?
Yes.
Okay. And did you come in contact with security at any time on those 4 times prior to May 12th?
Yes.
Were you pat down?
No.
Did they ask for your ID?
1 time.
Okay. 1 time out of the 4.
Yes.
Okay. Did they search on the 4 times? Did you have a purse with you?
I had a purse.
Did
Each
they
time.
look inside your purse?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now let me direct your attention to May 12th of 2024.
Okay.
Were you at 2110 Peachtree on May 12th of 2024?
Yes, ma'am.
And what took you to the club on that date?
It's my best friend's birthday.
Okay. And on that particular night, did you go through the security checkpoint when entering the facility?
I did.
Did they ask for an ID?
They asked for my ID that night.
Okay. Did you have a purse with you?
I had a purse.
Did they look inside your purse?
No.
Okay. Did they pat you down?
No.
Did you pay a fee to enter?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Once you got inside, how was the setup of 2110?
Walking inside, walk through security. When you walk through the main door, our section was right in front of the door. So you walk in, if you veer right here to the left, it's right here in front of the door, the main door. So you have the bar, is a bar to the right and more sections to the left, or you can go straight back. But our section was right in the front by the door.
When you say section, describe to the court what a section is.
Basically, a section in a club is basically a small little intimate area for you and the people that you come with. So it might be like a sectional couch,
and maybe a little seating beside it, so that, and that's your personal section that you pay for when you're going to the club, for you and your party to party in.
Okay, and, is this section roped off?
It's not roped off.
Okay, do you know Ms. Weston?
I do.
Okay, and did you not pay a fee because Ms. Weston paid a fee?
She paid a fee. She paid for this section,
Okay, and do you know how much she paid for that section?
$750.
Okay, and do you know what that $750 included?
I know it came with 3 bottles, 3 alcoholic bottles, 3 liquor bottles, and I'm guessing a sign with her name on it to say happy birthday to her.
Okay, and, how many people were in your party?
Was it like 10? I believe it was like 10.
Okay. Was anyone in your party denied entry?
No, it was nobody denied. Nobody was denied.
Okay. Did you observe any incidents while you were there on May 12th?
Going in.
No, when you were inside the club?
Well, while I was in there, there was an incident. It was a fight with some guys, I'm guessing, in the back of the club. There was an incident then. When that incident happened, they removed I seen when they removed one of the guys from the back and took him outside the club. I did also see that specific guy though. I see him back in the club after he was removed. We were still partying. I noticed that guy still was in the club. So I don't know if they took him to the front, but he was back partying.
Okay. Were there any other incidents that night that you observed?
Well, after that, that's when there was the shooting inside the club.
Okay.
Which, when it happened, I assumed that it was a confetti popper or something. I didn't realize that it was gunshots until everyone started bum rushing and started moving. So I got knocked over.
Okay. Because of the seating arrangement, were you injured?
Yes, actually. I was in front of my section. So the way the section is set up, it's set up as in like my couch is facing this way, but there's also a section in front of my section. So I was standing in front of this section, leaning on the back of the section. And when the shots went off, everyone started running really fast, and I got pushed back, and my knee got caught between the section's table. It's a table, they're heavy tables where you can set the liquor bottles and hookahs. My knee got caught in between the sections, the couch, and the table. So I was stuck in there while everyone was running out the club.
Okay. Because of the seating arrangement, was it difficult to exit the club?
It was definitely difficult to exit the club.
Okay.
Definitely.
Thank you. Nothing further at this time.
Cross-examination?
The other attorney said she has that. Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Hi, I'll be very brief, Mr. Walker. You stated that you've been to 1145 multiple occasions before this,
Yes,
right?
sir.
So you did not encounter any acts of physical violence on the previous 3 occasions, the first time, correct?
No, sir.
That's all I have.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Oh, any cross for you? Okay, any reason she shouldn't be excused?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, you're excused, ma'am. If you want to stay and watch, you can, but you can absolutely leave. Before your next witness, I have to take up a presiding matter in chambers, but it will take 2 minutes. So if you want to tee your witness up and go ahead and have them seated, that's fine. I'll be right
Tisha.
back.
Thank you, Judge.
Ladies, I need you to turn your Court come to order, remain seated.
Sorry about that. All set.
Thank you, Your Honor. The city calls Tisha Murphy.
Chair. All right, you turn to face me, raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give to the court is the truth, the whole truth, so help you? Go ahead and have a seat and enter the mic, state and spell your name for the court.
Tisha Murphy, Tishia, last name Murphy.
Ms. Murphy, are you familiar with the property address of 2110 Peachtree
Yes.
Street? How are you familiar with that property address?
It's a lounge, a club.
Okay, and were you at that particular property address at 2110 Peachtree on the evening of May 12th, 2024?
Yes, I attended my friend's birthday celebration.
Okay, prior to that particular date, May 12th, had you been to that particular property address before?
Yes,
How many times prior to May 12th had you been to the property?
maybe 2 times.
Okay, and on your 2 prior visits prior to May 12th, were you ID'd?
The first time I was, and I did have to pay an entry fee of $20. The second time I got free entry because I was with a party.
Okay, and on each of these times, did you go through a security checkpoint?
Yes,
Were you patted down?
no,
On those 2 prior visits, did you bring a purse?
yes.
Did they look inside of your purse?
They asked me to open it but didn't look inside.
Okay, and do you know this property to be a restaurant or a nightclub?
Nightclub.
Okay, and you said you were there on the evening of May 12th with a friend for a birthday party. Was that friend Ms. Weston?
Yes,
Okay, and were you charged a cover charge that night?
I was not charged a cover charge.
Okay, and on that particular night, did you go through security checkpoint?
Yes,
And did they pat you down on May 12th?
no,
Did they ask for your ID?
no, they said they didn't need it.
Okay, and did they look? Did you have a purse with you?
I had my purse, yes.
Did they look inside of your purse?
They asked me to open it but didn't look inside.
Okay. Was anybody in your party denied entry?
For the most part, nobody was really denied. Cola, I know her sister and her brother came. I know she was denied access unless she was willing to pay a fee because she was pregnant.
Okay. And the fee was based on her pregnancy?
Yes.
Once you got inside, can you describe to the court the atmosphere of 2110 Peachtree?
So it is a nightclub. They have a DJ, it's alcohol. Once you come inside, there's bars. There's a bar on the right-hand side. You go on the left-hand side. It's more of an open area as a club. They have sections everywhere.
Okay. And on that particular night, did you and Ms. Weston's party have a section?
Yes, we had a section. As soon as you walk through the front door, the section is literally right across once you bear to the left.
Okay. And do you know if Ms. Weston was charged for that section?
She was definitely charged for the section.
Do you know how much she was charged?
Around $750.
Okay. And do you know what that $750 included?
It consisted of us having entry of a certain amount of people, and 3 liquor bottles, and just a section. That's it.
Okay. Did you witness any incidents on the night of May 12th, 2024?
Yes. There was an altercation that happened with a gentleman. I just remember seeing security escort him out in a headlock position. But I wasn't for certain how drastic the situation was because he came right back in a couple of maybe 30 minutes, 20 minutes later.
Okay. And was there any other incidents that you witnessed when you were there that night?
The shooting.
Okay. And can you tell the court about the shooting?
So I say it's probably around, I'm not sure what time it was, because like I said, we was drinking. It was around 2 something, because I remember looking at my phone, sending out a text. I wasn't paying attention. By this time, our server had came over to get our payments. So probably 2 minutes after she had took away our cards and our cash, shots rang out. But at that time, I didn't realize it was shots. It sounded like balloons or maybe fireworks or something. Somebody pulled me down, fell down to the floor. I just remember everything being dark, and for a split second it sounded silent, but of course it's chaos everywhere. Within that time span, all I could think was I need to get up out of here because it's Mother's Day and I got a son myself and I can't be dead on Mother's Day. So I just remember I was fighting myself to get up out of there. I was crawling over people. I don't even know if they was dead or alive, but I managed to get myself out of that front door, and I just ran across the street hoping that the cars wouldn't hit me until I seen the valet, the parking people. That's when I was relieving. I just collapsed to the floor until I heard the sirens.
Okay. And because of the seating arrangement, was it difficult to exit the club?
It was difficult, yes.
Okay. And what door did you get out of?
The front door.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like the court to know about your experience on the night of May 12th of 2024?
It's only so much you can put into words, but that was a terrifying night.
I'm sorry, Ms. Murphy. That's all I have.
The other side gets to cross-examine. Cross-examination?
Just one question.
Okay, that's fine. I was just asking her if she wants water.
Ms. Walker, you testified that somebody told one of the patrons I was with you that they could come inside. They couldn't come inside because she was pregnant unless they paid a fee. Was that a security guard who told the patron that?
Yes.
Correct. So it wasn't an owner, it wasn't anybody managing, it was a security guard.
It was a security guard,
Okay,
yes.
that's all. Thank you.
Any redirect?
Just one question.
Okay, that's fine.
This person, were they a representative of 1145?
Yes. Anybody that's, if you're on the payroll at that club, you're a representative. Security, manager, hostess, yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy.
Based on that, any recross? Okay. Any reason she can't be excused?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. You can be excused if you want to stay and watch.
The city calls John Wilker.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm the testimony you give to the court is the truth, the whole truth, so help you? Go ahead and have a seat and enter the mic. State and spell your name for the court.
My name is John Welker.
Good afternoon, Mr. Wilker. Are you familiar with the property address of 2110 Peachtree?
I am.
How are you familiar with that property address?
It lives on the same street as our business, Terminus Ballet.
Okay, can you repeat that? What's the name of your business?
Terminus Ballet, DBA, Terminus Modern Ballet Theater.
And how close in proximity is Terminus Ballet to 1145 Lounge?
It's a couple thousand yards down the street, not too far away.
Okay, and do you know 2110 Peachtree, also known as 1145 Lounge, to be a restaurant or a club?
It's a club.
And how long have Terminus Modern Ballet been a neighbor to 1145?
We signed our lease in 2022.
Okay. Okay, since 2022, have there been any incidents from 1145 that has affected your business, Terminus Ballet?
Absolutely. You know, our company has both a school and then also the company aspect. And our school generally operates between the hours of 4 and 9 p.m. So they actually have the most overlap between club operating hours, particularly on the weekends. We do have performances and events during that, which has, you know, the biggest overlap with the club. So just to get into our facility, you have to drive by the club. No one has any different access points. That's it.
Okay. Have you ever had any issues with your patrons parking?
Absolutely. Our students, our artists, our staff, our patrons, our donors all have had issues getting in and out of that club depending on the day or the occasion. My biggest concern is our students. A lot of these young girls, you know, they train there 5 to 6 days a week. You know, they're the ones getting out at 9 o'clock, you know, go to school. A lot of them have driving. They're without an adult in the car. And so they're the ones most affected by the operation of the club.
And how are they affected?
Well, a lot of our students have been stopped by the club valet right at the entrance point to Bennett Street and are given access until they roll down their windows. They won't give them right away on a city street. These kind of came apparent to us over time. They got progressively worse. They witnessed people relieving themselves on the street. They witnessed explicit lyrics, amplified music. They witnessed drug use. So this is not something conducive to a school environment.
Objection hearsay.
Mr. Wilker, have you yourself heard any amplified music emanating from 1145?
I have, yes.
Okay. And since you've been there since 22, have you yourself either witnessed drug usage?
I have not witnessed it personally, but I have smelled it. I know what it smells like, yes.
Okay. Since the club has been closed, can you describe to court the atmosphere in the Bennett area?
In a nutshell, it's a lot more quiet. We've not had the issues that we've had when the club is in operation.
Okay. Have you yourself had any type of occasion to call the police?
I have not personally. You know, I'm an adult male. I am not a young teenage girl driving alone. But I have experienced a lot of the same issues in concerning ingress and egress from our facilities. I have heard a lot of complaints from our donors, folks that we rely on to stay in business. We are a growing business. We're trying to recruit more people. So it's just a constant ongoing problem for a company like ours.
So, but earlier you said that Club 1145 operates earlier. So it operates only at 10 p.m. or does it operate earlier than that?
It depends on the occasion, right? Not every day is equal in terms of holidays or weekends or just spring break or time off. Clubs have kind of different occasions, different events. So there's been some variability to it, but it's pretty consistent. Where the club generally gets started on a Thursday, you know, until through to Sunday. We do notice a lot more trash on the street. I've experienced many times where the trash has not been picked up the next morning, where I'm having meetings with donors or some of our staff, and we're literally driving over and through trash just to get to our building. So it just depends on the occasion and on the time of year. Spring and summer are definitely a lot more busy than the winter times.
Okay. Are they open consistently 6 days a week?
As far as I know, yes.
Have you ever complained to the property manager or the owner of 1145?
Not personally to the owner or property manager of 1145, but our property manager at the Tula Art Center, yes, I have.
Okay. Is your property managed by the same individuals that manage 1145?
It is not.
Okay. Is it owned by the same people that own 1145?
It is not.
Is there anything additional you would like court to know about your concerns for 1145 Lounge?
As a director of this company, it is my foremost priority to keep our patrons safe and ensure their safety, particularly our students, our younger students, our minors who are there. With the May 12th events, I'm sure I cannot offer any guarantees. We have policies in place that anytime that club is operating, I am very conscientious on what that means for our patrons and our students. I don't feel good about it.
All right, thank you.
Cross.
No, something different.
So a few quick questions for you. Are you familiar with any other restaurants or any other eating and drinking establishments on Bennett Street?
I am.
Have you had any issues with any other establishments on Bennett Street at all?
I have not.
You've not, well, in your testimony, you testified that you have issues getting, your employees have issues getting in and out of the club. Do you mean like in and out of, Bennett Street and the intersection of Bennett Street and Peachtree Street, is that what you mean?
As far as I know, none of our patrons go to Club 1145, going in and out of the club, but yeah, the street itself, yes, going in and out of the street.
So you believe that all issues on Bennett Street are attributable to 1145, would that be it?
No, that's not correct.
Well, you testified that you often see trash on the street on the way to your business. Can you clarify exactly where the trash is that you notice, or where on Bennett Street you see that trash?
On Bennett Street, the whole street.
On the whole street. So, are there not several clubs past 1145, directly next door to 1145 on the other side that the trash could have came from as well?
As far as I know, Club 1145 is the only club. There is one other club, but that's as far as I know. The rest are restaurants.
Which club is that you're referencing?
I'm not sure. It is located on the other side of the street, just across from the parking lot. It's a very small property. I don't attribute a lot of traffic to that club.
Which parking lot, okay, so when you talked about the valet, being stopped by the valet, you testified that you're stopped by the club's valet, correct?
That's correct.
What parking lot does that valet park cars into?
Just across from the club.
Just across from the club. So is your belief that is the valet, that's the club's valet?
Well, if I see patrons going in and out from that to that, yes.
So it would surprise you so you don't believe that any of the other restaurants or businesses on Bennett Street share that same parking lot, or you're without knowledge to testify to that?
So, since the club has been closed, we have not had any experience any issues.
Have you seen any cars parked in that parking lot at all since the club's been closed, or since 1145's been closed?
There's always a few cars parked there. I don't know where they are parking, but not to the same extent as when the club is in operation.
And once again, can you explain why you believe that 1145 is a club, or where that opinion is based from?
Sorry, can you restate?
So you call 1145 a club. They're licensed as a restaurant. Why do you call 1145 a club? Or what forms that belief that it's a club, that term?
It's in the media. It's listed as Club 1145.
Where's it listed where did you see it listed as Club 1145?
I've seen it in past complaints.
In past complaints, okay. So, so you do not have any knowledge of any violent incidents inside of 1145 except for the recent May event. Is that accurate?
That's not accurate today. Maybe pre-May 12th, after the mass shooting.
Yes.
I was not aware of the track record the club had. Now I'm very aware.
Okay. So, but you have no personal knowledge of any other violent incidents inside of 1145?
Not prior to May 12th. Now after May 12th, I've done my research, and yes, I am very aware.
Were you aware of any violent incidents outside of 1145 prior to May 12th?
I was not aware.
You're not aware. So you were not, prior to May 12th, although you listed a lot of your concerns, none of those concerns about 1145 involved concerns of the harm from the threat of violence. They were primarily centered around trash and traffic and other things of that nature, correct? Is that accurate?
Safety is a primary concern.
But
Trash, not so much. It's
Yeah.
the safety of my students, of my patrons, especially my elderly patrons.
I understand, but you had no personal knowledge of any physical, you had no personal knowledge of any violent acts at or around 1145 prior to after this incident. That's when you learned of other incidents, correct?
Not prior to May 12th.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Any redirect? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I don't know if you heard, but I represent Bennett Street Properties, the actual, not the club itself, but the whole area, the mall, and all the other properties that are located in that area. And I would like to share my screen. Trying to share my screen in this.
So do you have a share button at the bottom? It's bright green at the bottom of the screen. And are you sharing a document that's already in evidence?
Okay, it is not, Your Honor, it's just a map.
Okay.
And I would
Any
have
objection?
It's just a map.
Is the Google
Oh,
area, so we can know what we're talking about, because we're talking about streets and locations and
Any
things like
objection?
that. And I will submit
Is it
a
demonstrative?
snapshot.
no objection, Judge.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll admit it as a demonstrative exhibit.
Okay,
Do you want to give it a number?
sure, we can delete number one.
Number one.
Number two, because the
Number
one
two.
is the lead.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Which is the
So there should be a green share button at the bottom.
Okay.
What happens when you click that? There you go.
Are you able to see that on your screen?
I do.
Okay. Okay. So, as far as I can, so I can tell you, I actually, the way I obtained this screen is just by Googling Terminus Ballet. And as you can see, it's being pointed right there in red. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so you recognize this area, and where the red is that your business, correct?
That's the building in which our business is located. Correct.
Okay, and like you testified, that does not belong to Bennett Properties, that's not your landlord, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and when you look at Bennett Street, and on that, is on my right, but on that side is Peachtree, and then you have to go through Bennett Street in order to get to your business, correct?
That's correct.
Are you aware that that part of Bennett Street, the access from Peachtree, is actually private property and not public property?
I'm not aware that it's private property.
Okay. So the parking lot that we're talking about for 1145 is just that parking lot there around the building, right? The 1145 building, which is the first building.
Is that Terminus? What's 1145?
That is 2110 Peachtree is the first building. Your ballet is here, that's the last building, and then you have the first building up the front. of the street, that's 1145.
Yeah, 1140 is this first building that you see as you enter the street.
Okay, and just for the sake of, I cannot point here.
You
but
can touch a
you
screen and it will make a
see
mark.
Yeah, can you see
Yeah.
here?
Yes,
Okay, that's 1145, correct?
that's correct.
Okay, and this is your business, correct?
That's the building or business.
Yeah.
It's not our exact location, but yes.
Okay, and then the parking lot we're talking about, is this, all this parking lot around here?
Yeah, on this map, it's listed as 2107 and 2118.
Okay, but this is the area, correct?
That's correct.
And do your students, they use this parking lot as well?
They do not.
They do not, okay, but they have to cross that area,
That's correct. That's the only way to get to our business.
okay. Have you, and I know you've been asked that before, but just confirming, you never contacted the landlord for any particular complaints?
The landlord of 1145.
Yes, the Bennett Street properties.
I have not. I have contacted our property managers
Okay,
who have been in communication with the owner,
okay,
from what they have told me.
okay, and those complaints, did any violent or even, you know, did anybody ever approach any of your students?
Besides what I've iterated around the club's valet stopping vehicles in the middle of the street, not allowing them to pass for no apparent reason,
Okay,
I have had no complaints or occasion of violent acts on any of our students.
okay, and when you say not allow them to pass, again, through that Bennett Street Northwest, which you are not aware is private property, correct?
I'm not aware it's private property.
Okay.
It is Bennett Street Northwest.
Yeah, okay. Now, when you have performances at your business, do you know if your customers or the people that come to attend those performances, if they use any of the parking lot in that area?
The area in which you pointed, they do not. We hire a security officer for all our events, just to help ensure that parking is available and that our patrons feel safe.
Where is the parking that they use?
We have a dedicated parking spot in front of where our school is located. You can see these parking spots on a diagonal. And then this area just across the street of Bennett Street is also public parking that is available.
Okay. Do you know who this area belongs to right in front of your?
That's just a big power facility from what I understand. I don't know who owns it. I'm assuming it's civic in nature.
But to your knowledge, all this parking is spot around Bennett Street is public?
Yes,
Again,
to
you're
my
not
knowledge.
aware if this is actually in actuality private property?
I'm wondering if our property managers knows it's private property because I have not been told that.
Okay. Let me see, do you know of any other business around this mall? Like I see there's a hair salon and other clubs and other business around this area. Are you aware of any problems coming out of those other businesses?
No.
Okay. I appreciate it, thank you.
Any regret?
No, Your Honor.
Any reason he can't be excused?
No, Your Honor, he can be excused.
Okay, you're excused. If you'd like to stay and watch, you can. All right, ready to call your next witness?
Yes. Stacy Savosky.
The deputy will swear you in.
Just raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm that the testimony you shall give to the court is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And ma'am, if I can get you to state your name and spell it for the record, please.
Stacy Savatsky, S-T-A-C-E-Y, S-A-V-A-T-S-K-Y.
Do pass it. Good afternoon, Ms. Sabowski. Are you familiar with the property address of 2110 Peachtree?
Yes, I am.
And how are you familiar with that property address?
I work down the street on Bennett Street in the Museum of Contemporary Art of Georgia.
And what is your position at the Museum of Contemporary Art?
I'm the archivist and director of collections and exhibitions.
And how long have you been working for the Museum of Contemporary Art?
I started full-time in 2017, but I was contract for about 8 months before that.
Okay, so you've been a neighbor of 2110 Peachtree since 2017?
Yes.
Okay, and do you know that particular property address to be a restaurant or a club?
It's a club as far as I know.
And why would you say it's a club?
Just at the happenings around it, it seems that there's lines of people at the door. There's a lot of kind of partying going on, usually late at night. Just feels like a club, but I've never been inside.
Okay. Has the operation of Elleven45, the business that's at 2110 Peachtree, has it affected the Museum of Contemporary Art?
Yes.
Can you tell the board how their operation has affected where you work?
A couple different ways. For staff, just the shootings and not just the most recent one, but I know things have happened in the past where I've actually been there and been trapped at MoCA, not being able to get out because of police investigating. It's scary. The staff doesn't feel comfortable leaving events that we have periodically that are in the evening when it's dark. We've hired off-duty police as security during evening events now. We started doing that a couple of years ago as it started to get worse. When we have fundraisers especially, but I think it's happened once or twice during opening receptions and artist talks, we've had, like when patrons come down Bennett Street, they're stopped by the valets. There's always a bunch of valets up there sort of asking people to roll down windows, wanting to get money. And in a couple of cases, people have been charged for parking even down towards MoCA. And the officers that we have as security for us have had to go back to the valets and say, you need to give them their money back. They're parking in, on the street across from the Tula Art Building that isn't owned by anybody. I don't know who, I guess it's City of Atlanta because it's parking that we all use for the Tula Art Building. And we've had, for our fundraisers, we often have a slightly older group of people that are donors for the museum. And I've heard them over the past few years, people sort of complain about feeling very uncomfortable coming down.
Objection hearsay.
Okay.
Yeah, please refrain from telling what someone else told you outside.
Ms. Sabowski, you said that that the museum has to employ off-duty officers. Why is that?
Just making sure everybody gets out safely. There's a lot of stuff that like people coming down Bennett Street, yelling, screaming, very sort of uncomfortable behavior by people partying, I know on the, when was it, the 5th of May this past year, it sort of all culminated when we had an off-site fundraiser. We had it off-site because parking is miserable there. And then we were coming back, it was probably around 11 o'clock at night, and we had a U-Haul, the staff each had their cars, we were just trying to get our equipment back to the museum. And it took forever just to turn down Bennett Street. There were people like holding drinks, like walking slowly in and out of traffic, and you couldn't move. It was weird. And they were everywhere. And it took like 20 minutes probably getting down and then getting back. We had to like go behind the alley behind the building just to get out. It was crazy. It felt like a street party.
So you would agree that, the operation of 1145 caused the museum inconvenience?
Yeah.
Objection.
Right. Well, I mean,
It is leading, but he said his objection was leading. Yeah. It's a preliminary matter.
Okay.
And I'll give it the proper weight.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Kavinsky, other than that particular night, can you describe traffic when 1145 is in operation?
yeah, they usually start like blocking off down the road, like valet areas. And I think it seems a lot farther than they should be. I'm not sure who owns what, but I've always been led to believe that the parking places right across from Tula were open to everybody, but they block a lot of that off like far down. And it's just hard for people to find a parking place. We have valets for the fundraisers, that our own valets, just to sort of find a place to park. And again, the police that we hire, the off-duty police officers, security, are there to make sure that our patrons feel safe coming into the building and that there's no problems with the other valets that are at the top of the street trying to find parking or charging them ridiculous amounts of money for parking. Ours are complimentary.
Okay.
And just feeling of discomfort when we leave. The officer that we hire, he stays there until the staff cleans up and are out the door and in their cars, just to make sure everybody's safe leaving.
Okay. And Ms. Savosky, have you yourself ever experienced hearing amplified sound coming from 1145's lounge?
Well, not from inside Mocha, are you talking about, or are you talking about like going to my car?
Just, have you ever heard noise emanating from 1145?
Yeah, just because people are outside in the streets, but not from the inside, because I'm down the hill.
Okay. Approximately how far is the museum from 1145, 2110 Peachtree?
I'm not good with distance. I would say city block wise, like 1.5 maybe to 2 city blocks. The Tula building is sort of halfway down on the right hand side. It's under the Terminus Dance Studio. We are in the same building right on the bottom floor.
Okay. Is there any other information that you would like the court to know how 1145 operates? Oh, let me back up. Since 1145 has been closed, can you tell me the atmosphere of the Bennett Street area?
There's definitely a difference. We have had an opening reception and an artist talk in the evenings in the last couple months, and they've been on a Friday and a Thursday, and people are parking. There's nobody complaining. Nobody's having trouble getting down the street. It's just it's much quieter.
Okay. And is there anything additional that you would like to know? Let the court know about how 1145's operation affects the museum.
I think I've pretty much said everything.
Okay. Thank you.
Cross-examination?
So you testified you've been on Bennett Street since 2017, is that correct?
Yes.
Are you familiar with any other eating and drinking establishments, restaurants, or clubs on Bennett Street?
There's a Taranga on the top next to 2411, and then there's I think like a hookah bar that's across the street from that at the top, and I think there's a new restaurant like around the corner at the bottom on the other side of us. That's not Bennett Street, but it's right around the corner.
So there's at least two other restaurant or clubs on Bennett Street.
Yes.
Right? Do you know where the patrons of those establishments park, or is there a lot of parking? Do you know where they park?
I think that for the one around the corner, they have their dedicated parking space, and I think the Taranga and the other one are parking up at the very top. In that, there's like a parking lot that's right across from 24, and then there's parking around the back and right in that area. So they've seemed to. I mean, it's been quiet, so I think they've been staying up there. I've noticed that.
24 is.
1120 is I'm sorry, I've never been to the club, I just pass it every
You
day.
mean 11:45?
11:45,
Okay,
that's
sorry,
it.
I was
Yeah, I'm
confused.
dyslexic.
Yes. So what you're saying is, for your belief, you believe the patrons of Taranga and Zari park in the same parking lot across from 11:45?
Yes, in the same area.
Yes. So, so when you talk about the traffic and the issues you're having, in reality, you're talking about traffic that generates from the top of the hill around that parking lot, correct?
Well, when you're driving down, yes, you're trying to get out, that's where the valets are, but then as you get down much further closer to Mocha, to the Tula Art Building, across the street, that they block off some of that all the way down, not like right across the street, but part way down across the street, so it's a good distance from the club at the corner.
Who is they?
Whoever the valets are that put those stanchions up in the, yeah.
So those valets don't just control the lot across from 11:45, they block off more areas further down Bennett Street.
They do.
Do you know who is controlling the valet? Do you know who the valets, whose control they're under?
I don't, I did talk to one of them, or I think I got the number through our security and just asked them to be courteous because we were having an event. And I think I did that once a long time ago, but usually our security person is constantly talking to them to try to keep them, in line. If we didn't have our security person, we would have a lot more problems, I think, with them getting our patrons to pay them for parking, which is across from the Tula building.
Have you encountered any acts of violence personally, or is anybody do you have personal knowledge of any acts of violence for any of the patrons or employees of the Museum of Contemporary?
Not our patrons. You may probably stop me. I know artists have told me that they've seen people with weapons, like coming out of the car. But again, I can't give you names, it's just sort of comments in passing. Yeah, no.
Yeah, so really, it appears that the primary concern, correct me if I'm wrong, but it appears that your primary concern from 11:45 is in reality a concern about traffic and congestion and other issues related to parking. Is that accurate?
Yeah, but it's not traffic because it's not the cars that are doing it, it's the people.
It's the people.
Yeah, and it makes for an atmosphere of discomfort when you feel kind of forced to roll down your window as you and state your business on a road going down to the museum. The other thing I didn't mention, I don't think I mentioned in the report, is I come in to work early, and there is oftentimes just garbage and cups and stuff everywhere, all the way down, all over the ground. Now, someone is hired and they eventually clean it up, but it's disconcerting to see that as you come to work in the morning every day. It looks like a bomb went off with stuff everywhere.
So what you're saying is sometimes you'll see trash and debris going down the street, but at some point, somebody, you said, how do you know someone's hired? Do they come on a regular basis to clean it up?
They do eventually clean it up, but it's not always before we get to work in the morning, yeah.
How early do you go to work?
I get to work at 8.
At 8 a.m. Around what time, from your experience, do they clean up? Does it vary or?
Sometimes I don't see it constantly, but I have seen it.
Mm-hmm.
It usually doesn't last for like days or anything. It just, I've noticed it when I've gone to work in the morning here and there.
Here and there. So you've never it's never been to the degree that you've had to contact code enforcement or anybody else to deal with those issues. No. I heard you testify that you can't hear the noise from 11:45 from your building. However, you said you just hear the noise from traffic and people being outside sometimes.
Yes.
So you never had to call code enforcement or anyone else for noise violations?
No.
Okay. That's all I have.
I represent Bennett Street Properties, and I am just gonna put it on my computer again, just for the benefit of everybody, knowing what exactly we were talking about when we were talking about the property and where you're located, et cetera. Can you see the map?
Yes.
Okay, so I put this map before to show the ballet place, but is it MoCA located in the same building?
Yes, so if you're looking at the red dot, Terminus is actually a little bit to the left, so where the black awning is.
Okay.
And we're underneath, basically underneath Terminus, but a little bit to the right,
Okay.
because there's 2 floors.
So is this building where?
Yes,
you
to
work
the left,
in? Okay. And do you know, are you aware that all this area coming from Peachtree, including all this area, including this building, sorry, it pops out things that I don't want it to pop. Including this building, this is 1145, correct?
Yes.
And then you have the hair salon, you have another Turunga here, and then Kasi, which is a spa, and that area. Are you aware that all of this belongs to Bennett Street Properties?
I don't know who belongs to what, but now I do.
Okay. Do you know, have you ever contacted anybody from Bennett Street Properties?
Do they have a office in there, like where your arrow is right now? Well,
They
down
do.
a little bit? Okay, yeah, I've
Yes.
talked to someone in there to see if he'd let us use this space back here
Okay.
for additional parking for events, because we're so strapped for
Okay.
space, because this is where we have a problem, where they
Okay.
kind of come down here and start
Okay.
charging.
Are you aware that this part of the Bennett Street, it's public?
Yeah.
But from this line here, you see this line,
Right.
like all this area,
Mm-hmm.
including all the parking lot in the area, and it's all private. Are you aware of that?
Yes, and it's down here that we have issues.
Okay, so when they stop you, they say the valet stops you. Where do they stop you?
They usually are up here, trying to
Okay.
figure out, but sometimes it's down around this curve.
Okay.
It just depends. For me, if I have my Tula sign, I just point to the Tula, because I have a little Tula thing in my car and I just point to it, so.
Perfect. So that place that you put your hand on, that it's Bennett Street, it says Bennett Street on the map, but are you aware that this is actual private property?
Up here, I mean, no, I guess I wasn't aware that it was private property. I figured that the parking lots were, but I figured
Okay.
the whole street was.
Well, I'll represent to you that is actually private property and has given passage to the city for your side of the road, which is actually public property.
Okay.
So, and when you are stopped at this place by the valet, are they wearing uniforms? Do you know who they are?
Again, I'm not usually stopped so much because of the Tula sign. It's our patrons that are stopped
Okay.
as they come down, and they tell us that they were stopped. And sometimes they're charged for parking in this area, like closer to us. And
Okay.
the security person has to go back and say, you charged.
When you, but you say you're not having any problems like that, or your patrons are not having problems like that now that 1145 has been out of business, correct?
No, we haven't had any issues.
Okay,
We haven't had any.
and, when you contact Bennett Street Properties to see if you could use the extra space for your parking, would they arrange that for you?
Yeah, that was probably about a year and a half, 2 years ago. I had one conversation with him, and
Okay.
yeah, and he said,
Well,
yeah.
Would you say you have a good relationship? If you need to use the space again, you could contact them? Is that door open? Have you?
I haven't tried again, because the last 2 big fundraisers we have them off-site because we're having so many problems. I mean, that was a little bit helpful for staff, but it didn't solve our problems.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were the problems you were talking about?
The problems of parking issues and patrons feeling uncomfortable and,
Okay, but
Yeah.
those problems after 11:45 stopped operations, you're not going through those problems?
yeah, we haven't felt that at all.
And did you have any problems with any other businesses in that mall other than 11:45?
Nope.
Do they continue working and functioning?
Um,
Do you know if they are open?
I would assume they are not. I'm not there on the weekends. I work Fridays, and
Okay,
Tuesday through Friday. I mean,
Okay.
Monday through Friday.
so you don't know if the spas and the hair salon and the other place is open?
I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, I'm assuming they are.
Okay. And have you ever had any problems with trash now that 11:45 is not in operation?
I haven't seen that in the past, but again, as I said, it was periodic. It wasn't like every week I came in, there was trash everywhere. It was, maybe it was whoever they had to clean it up didn't work that day, and so it was everywhere. I couldn't tell you if it was like 3 months ago was the last time or 2 months ago, so.
Okay, okay. Well, I have no other questions, thank you.
Redirect?
Yes. Ms. Vosky,
Mhm.
at your evening events, when 11:45 is operational, do you feel safe?
I feel safe because we have our security officer there, and I know that he's gonna be there until I get in my car and leave.
But if your security officer was not there, would you feel safe?
I wouldn't feel safe coming out. I mean, coming out at night?
Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Okay, thank you.
Any requests? Any reason she can't be excused?
No, Your Honor, she can be excused.
Okay, you're excused. Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
Turnbull, Jake Turnbull. Yeah, Turnbull.
The city calls Jake Turnbull.
Yes, sir.
Straight ahead. Just turn and raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm that the testimony you shall give to the court is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
And sir, if I can get you to state your name and spell it for the record for me, please.
My name is Jake Turnbull.
Could you
Okay,
hear
you
him?
can be seated. Did you hear?
Jake, T-U-R-N-B-U-L-L.
Jake.
Yes, ma'am. Would you like me to see?
You can sit right there.
Good afternoon, Mr. Turnbull. Are you familiar with the property address of 2110 Peachtree?
Yes, ma'am.
How are you familiar with that property address, sir?
I'm the manager of Cafe Sunflower, and we're adjacent to that property at 1145.
Okay, can you speak directly into the microphone? I can't hear you.
Yes, ma'am. I'm the manager of Cafe Sunflower Buckhead, and our property is adjacent to Club 1145.
Okay. And what's your current position at Cafe Sunflower, I'm sorry.
General manager.
Okay. And as general manager, what hours do you presently work?
Roughly from 10:45 to 10 p.m.
Okay. And have you ever had any incidents with the property address of 2110 Peachtree, also known as 1145 Lounge?
To specify me personally, or
You personally?
no?
Okay. Have you ever heard about any incidents that emanated from the property address?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what kind of incidents were those?
We've had run-ins with Club 1145 patrons. Well, our staff have.
Okay.
I have two specific instances, if you'd like me to recount them.
Yes, please.
one time, one of our servers was taking out the trash, and you saw a couple of dudes behind the dumpster, and he knew the situation. He knew the situation at hand.
Hold
and
on
he
one
left
second,
fast.
hold on one second.
They
You can
weren't-
testify to whatever you saw, but not what someone told you. Are you able to do that?
What I saw, no, I haven't.
Okay.
Haven't seen anything.
Okay, does the traffic emanating from 2110 affect Cafe Sunflower?
I would say not.
Okay, and do you know 2110 Peachtree to be a restaurant or a club?
A club.
Okay, and why would you say it's a club?
There's always music playing, there's a large line, people are screaming, shouting, they're having a good time, it's a club.
Okay, and you said that the property that you were employed at is adjacent to 1145?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, have you yourself ever experienced amplified sound coming from Club 1145?
When I'm outside, yes.
Okay. And do you have any specific concerns with 2110 Peachtree?
Personally, or as a representative of Cafe Sunflower?
Both.
I'd say for both, I'm concerned that there's stray bullets flying around in the parking lot. It may hit our patrons, it may hit people in Brookwood Square, it may hit our staff, they're hardworking, they're taking out the trash. I mean, the chances are very low, but it could happen.
Have you yourself ever experienced any shootings happening in the parking lot?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Does Cafe Sunflower have off-duty officers working for them?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Does Brookwood have off-duty officers, security?
I cannot ascertain the truth of that information because I don't have access to it.
Okay.
I mean, from what I've seen police cars stationed at Brookwood Square after closing hours. However, I don't know if they're employed by Brookwood Square to be there.
Is Brookwood Square the building you're in?
Yeah, I think they're the property management group.
Okay. How far is Houston's from Cafe Sunflower?
I'd say a 30-second walk.
Okay. Have you ever seen patrons coming from 1145 walking through Brookwood Square or Houston's?
I've never seen Club 1145 patrons actively crossing through Brookwood Square. However, I've seen them utilize the back of Brookwood Square, which is staff parking for Cafe Sunflower and other commercial buildings. I've seen them walk around in that area and park there, and then walk over to Club 1145. However, walking directly to Houston's, I don't think I have.
Okay. And since the club has been closed, can you tell the court about the atmosphere in the area?
It's definitely a lot quieter near closing time, that's for sure.
Okay. And when 1145 is operational, do you feel safe at night?
Me personally, yes.
Okay, thank you. Nothing further.
Cross-examination?
How you doing, Mr. Turnbull?
Well, thank you.
You mentioned that you've seen, you're answering the question about security at Brookwood Square. For your knowledge, have you seen off-duty officers outside of 1145 before?
Prior to them closing,
Yes, when they were open.
when they were open,
Yes.
I can't say that I have.
Okay. I read through your statement that you provided to the city of Atlanta, and from my understanding, you did question every staff member and ask them their thoughts about 1145, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And looking at your statement, most of those interactions with staff members were neutral in nature. Is that accurate?
Yeah, most.
Yeah. So every staff member doesn't have a negative. Did not say negative. Every staff member didn't have a negative opinion about 1145, or every staff member didn't.
No, are you saying negative opinion or negative interaction with the club?
Negative interaction. Every staff member hadn't had a negative interaction with 1145.
Yes, not every staff member had a negative interaction with Club 1145.
And that's all I have.
Any cross? Any redirect?
You said not every employee had a negative incident, but did some of your employees have negative incidents with Club 1145?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Any recross? Okay, any reason he can't be excused?
No, Your Honor, you can be excused.
You can be excused. If you'd like to stay and watch, you can, but you definitely don't have to.
Thank you very much for your time, Your Honor.
Thank you.
The city calls Wilbert James.
Wilbert James. And Judge, I think that's gonna be our last witness for today.
That's fine.
And then we can pick back up in the
We
morning.
can reconvene tomorrow morning.
Thank you.
Do we have an update on what's happening? Okay, so we have a presiding calendar at 9:30 that won't take more than an hour, so we'll get started by 10. So if you try to come between 9:30 and 10, we'll be able to start right at 10.
Thank you.
Thank you. 10 o'clock start time, but try to get here between 9:30 and 10 to get set up. Thank you.
Just turn and raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm that the testimony you shall give to the court is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Sir, if I can get you to state your name and spell it for the record for me, please.
Wilbert James, WILBERT JAMES.
Good afternoon, Mr. James. Mr. James, can you tell the court how you employed?
I'm employed by the city of Atlanta in Watershed as the collection manager
And how long have you been employed with the city of Atlanta?
for over 15 years.
And how long have you been in your current job title as the collections manager?
12 years.
Okay, and what are your job duties?
My job duties is the custodian of all the delinquent accounts at the city, that the Watershed Department holds.
Okay, are you familiar with the property address of 2110 Peachtree?
Yes,
Is that property address in the city of Atlanta, Fulton County?
yes.
How are you familiar with that property?
I'm familiar with the property because it continued to carry a delinquent balance.
Okay, Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
I'm gonna show you what's been marked as petitioner number 7. Are you familiar with that document?
Yes.
And can you tell the court what that document is?
This is our monthly water bill that is sent out to our constituents.
Okay, is that document kept in the normal course of business?
Yes,
And is it routine to make and keep such documents in your course of business as the collection manager?
yes,
And was that document made near the time that the water amount was reported?
yes,
And was that record made by a person who had knowledge and transmitted by a person with knowledge who reported such knowledge in the regular course of business?
yes.
And how is that information kept?
It is kept in our system, which is called Enquesta.
And do you have access to Enquesta?
Yes, I do.
Are you an authorized user of Enquesta?
Yes,
And do you have a terminal connection to Enquesta?
yes, I do.
Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to turn into evidence petitioner number 7.
And it's admitted and you can produce it.
Okay. What is the overdue, water amount?
The overdue water amount at this particular time is $78,571.84.
Okay, and, have you had issues with this particular property address in their water bill previously?
Yes.
Can you tell the court about the issues that you've had with 2110 Peachtree?
So what is occurring is that they will make a payment, and within a couple of days, that payment will come back as insufficient funds.
Okay, and how is payment made?
Payments being made online.
Okay, and how much was paid on that particular water bill?
This particular water bill, what was paid was $73,885.
And did the check come back insufficient?
Yes.
Okay, and does that property currently have water?
No.
And when was the water disconnected?
The water was disconnected within the 30 days after we received the insufficient funds.
Okay, and has there been any attempt to reconnect the service or pay the water bill?
Not at this time.
Okay, thank you, nothing further. Your Honor, I would like to tender that bill into evidence.
Any objection to the bill?
No.
It's admitted.
Beverage?
Yes. Thank you. Over what period of time was this bill accrued?
Pardon me?
Over what period of time was this bill accrued?
Well, because of the checks that are coming back, that's why it is at that particular
So some
amount.
of it is fees, not?
Yes, ma'am.
So, I'm trying to get clarity about when this water was shut off. How long have you, been familiar with this property, or at least the water bill of this property?
I've been familiar with this within the last 60 to 90 days.
Oh, 60, 90 days. So you don't have any knowledge about what the bill was prior to 90 days ago?
I do, just based on in the Enquester system.
Okay, after looking at the system, do you know how long 1145 has had a outstanding balance?
This goes all the way back to 2023.
2023. And what is for your understanding, what's the process when a when a business has outstanding balance? What is the process? When does the city determine to shut off the water? Or is there any, what's the process of dealing with these delinquent
Well, we will shut the water off after 60 days. But what has occurred in this situation is that they will make a payment, the account will be current, and then the check will come back insufficient funds. So it would never run total 60 days for us to shut the water off.
So has the so you said you became you said you became aware of this account between 60 and 90 days. Did you become aware of this account after the incident that happened in early May, after the shooting that happened at 1145, or was it before that shooting?
Before that.
How far before the shooting?
I can't tell you how far before the shooting, but it came across my desk because of the insufficient funds where the checks were being paid and the funds was coming back.
But the water had never been shut off prior to the shooting, to your knowledge, had it?
To my knowledge, I think the water was shut off a couple of times before. I can't tell you specifically when that water was shut off, but I know that the water was terminated at one time.
have you had any communication with the owner of 1145, Mr. Daffy, at all?
Not me personally. I don't know if one of my staff members have, but I can check into that.
And that's all.
Hi, Mr. James. I represent Bennett Street Properties, the actual owner of the whole, that property around, including 1145. Just a couple of questions. You already responded, you have not notified the owner about the spending, water. And if you look at the water bill, it is on, it is directed to Sovereign Entertainment LLC, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay, and that is the tenant, is that correct?
that is the name that's on the account. We don't know specifically who the tenant is because they have not changed the name, or anyone have not changed a particular name of the account.
Okay, and now, do you also, if other properties on that mall had a bill like that or any collection spending with the city watershed, would you be aware of that?
Yes, at some point.
Okay, and are you aware of any other properties or any other readers out there that have been shut down?
Within 1125?
With it is basically, let me get the other addresses for you. I can show you again. So do you go personally to the property?
I do not.
You do not? Okay. Are there any other properties on Bennett Street that you are aware of that had the old?
Not me personally, but I don't know if my staff is aware.
Okay, so you cannot tell me if there are other locations on Bennett Street that had their reader shut off?
I cannot tell you that at this minute, no ma'am.
Okay, you would have to research, look into it.
Right, and talk to my staff.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Any redirect?
No, you aren't.
Anything else?
One more question. How long, I mean, you're familiar with commercial water bills. Approximately how long would it, can a 78, have you, in your experience, have you ever seen a bill of that magnitude of close to $80,000 accumulated for a commercial property in less than a year?
I've seen bills higher than that.
For
Now, you have to understand that this, we're not just talking about water, we're talking about water and sewer.
that's not a question.
No, you aren't.
Okay, you can be excused.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for your testimony. Okay, we'll recess for today and start tomorrow morning?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Your Honor,
Yes.
do you mind if I leave these exhibits